What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, community posts. You already know the vibes. And I'm back at you with another one, man. And speaking of Twitter, those Twitter fingers, sometimes it's better just to leave those thoughts in your head, because sometimes those tweets can come out to bite you. And this is just another case of one of those situations where tweeting goes wrong. Starring Ricochet, who is a habitual tweeter. Ever since he's been in AEW, he's been tweeting a whole lot more. He's been able to, get his voice out, tweet the marks, as they say, and respond with,
"Why you bald? Why you asking a dumb question like that? Why you bald? Why you ugly?"
however he responds. And this time, this is a situation that may come back to bite him. We don't know how this situation is going to play out. But allow me to explain this situation. So, this past weekend was AEW's Revolution pay-per-view. One of the matches was a 20-man battle royale for the national championship that was formerly held by Ricochet and now being held by Jack Perry. After the match, Ricochet, like I said, he lost, so he's crashing out in the rings at ringside. He's crashing out backstage. He's throwing a temper tantrum. And AEW caught the footage of him crashing out or whatever. And Ricochet is the type of guy that gets a lot of hate just by just doing anything. So like he's one of those people that's like an easy target for hate. So he gets a lot of hate tweets and a lot of hate comments or whatever, and he responds to a lot of them. So in this instance, he got a response for the crash out video, and I gotta say it was a pretty tame response compared to what he normally gets. Response came from Sandy T, and it was basically her saying that his acting hasn't improved, with a whole bunch of laughing emojis. Now, like I said, Ricochet likes to respond, and in this case he responded with, "I'm glad you got MS." So which is like, yo, why would you even tweet that? Obviously this lady has MS, which stands for multiple sclerosis, a condition which a lot of people would deal with. So of all the things he could have tweeted, or he could have just not responded at all, but by saying, "I'm glad you got MS." Yeah. And I believe that Sandy responded to Ricochet's "I'm glad you got MS" by saying, "I hope you have a good life," or whatever. Like, "I'm glad you feel that way. I hope you have a good life," or something to that effect. Yeah, like in this instance, you could have just not said anything, for one, or if you were gonna heal it up, you could have said a whole litany of things. Like you could have went with the old faithful by saying, "Oh, my bank account says I can act," or whatever, something that wasn't this. So of course, Ricochet got a lot of heat for this, a lot of hate for this from the IWC, to which he responded, "It's so hilarious that the amount of little bitches who has tweeted and wished harm on me, who has wished even death, some said some of the most vile things to me and my wife, people who try and make fun of me every day, but those same little bitches can't take it when I do it back to people. Fucking pussies everywhere." And on one hand, I get it. What's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. People, like I said, people do say a whole bunch of mean things about Ricochet and even his wife. Like, it's nonstop. And at the end of the day, Ricochet and his wife Samantha are human beings with feelings. And no matter how hard you try to put up this tough exterior of who cares, it's just the internet, words hurt. Especially with all the hate they gave. So from that perspective, I get it. However, sometimes it's good not to say anything at all. By saying "I'm glad you got MS" to someone who really said something that wasn't all that bad compared to a lot of the vile and vicious things that Ricochet gets. I don't know about the whole death threats thing, but saying "I can't act" as opposed to "I hope you die," I would rather somebody say "your acting sucks" compared to "I hope you die." Like, that's light. But I don't know if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day. I guess that day was the day or whatever. Him saying "I'm glad you got MS" was, Yeah, so of course, I don't know if Ricochet had a change of heart. I don't know if it was because the IWC was cooking him so bad. I don't know if he got a call from AEW HR, but he did apologize. And his apology says, I took my hatred for the IWC on Sandy and inadvertently others who have or are affected by MS. She didn't deserve it. And for that, I sincerely apologize. Moving forward, I'll do better. Now, I will say this, it takes a big person to apologize, especially when you've done something wrong, for, owning up to what he did. Me personally, I would have left the IWC part off and just said, my bad, I'm sorry, and just owned up to it. Because with the whole addition of this hatred for the IWC or whatever, it feels like you're deflecting and saying, well, because the IWC acts like this, I did this. And it's kind of just like, man, just own up to what you did and just say you're sorry. So the aftermath from this is you have Brian Alvarez reporting on the message board that he's saying, fingers crossed, he's hoping that Ricochet is still employed by the end of the week. Following his I'm glad you got MS comment on Twitter, Ricochet is seemingly in hot water with AEW management. And it makes sense because, Ricochet is an AEW employee, and this is more or less a reflection of the company. Even though it wasn't like Tony Khan tweeting it, he's still under contract as an AEW wrestler. Now, do I think Ricochet is going to get fired from this? I seriously doubt it. Do I think Ricochet is in hot water with AEW management? I seriously think he is because of the representation, like I just mentioned. I mean, you have had different AEW wrestlers say and do things in the past. Like you had Sammy Guevara with his comments way back when, and he only had to do I think sensitivity training or something like that, and he's still under contract with AEW. You have had other wrestlers in the past that have had heat. Nothing like this, but it's not a fireable offense. I don't think. I don't know how it works over there. I seriously doubt Ricochet is gonna lose his job over this. Maybe he'd be taken off TV for a little bit, but fired, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but what do I know? Another thing that's come of this is the fact that, like I said, Ricochet's wife, Samantha Johnson, or Samantha O'Shea, has deactivated her Twitter, seemingly because of death threats that she's received. So the IWC is very weird. It still doesn't justify Ricochet saying what he said, but this does kind of validate the fact that the internet wrestling community can be very weird and very toxic and just full of strange individuals. Because Ricochet did apologize. He said what he said, but this doesn't warrant sending death threats to Ricochet or his wife. That's just weird. If you're doing this, please stop. It is not that serious. Yeah, man, so there's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on. It's really kind of up in the air as far as what's gonna happen with Ricochet. Hopefully he just maybe gets taken off TV for a little bit and then comes back at a later time. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I don't think he's gonna lose his job, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe. You guys take care. Bees, I'm out. Peace. And watch what you post on Twitter, man, because it could be your job, Mr. Postman. It could be your ass.